like a beacon of bright stars. I was in a life wandering far until I found a lighthouse guiding me out the
Welcome to LXC.
Down in the rift again, where champions ascend. Warden league lights the night, diamond dreams burn bright. Tournament's heart beats fast, LXC is here at last. Amateurs with skill to prove, in this battle groove. Diamond red, shining pure, victory is near for sure. In the LX.
What happened? All out again. TV Batman. This is the fourth time. One on
Dude,
one.
on the way.
Will he commit for the kill? He knows that no one's actually. Oh, but the embezzle under the tower and will get that avenge kill. But
Ooh. I think Mike Angel a little upset that Alias got that 1v1, didn't even get the assist. Flash of frustration, perhaps. Maybe just having fun. 7-1 and 3 on the new. I don't think he really needs the kill at this point.
I think it's about the message. That's the kill. This is just. Okay, gonna knock back, gonna push back towards the wall. Commander's gonna ult
Ooh.
the Ambessa back towards the river. He's gonna try to go all out here, trying to secure the kill. Third Q knockback. Another passive hit with the grab stack with Sheen, and he's gonna be able to pick up that kill. 1v1 there.
That was obvious that Kazante has been nerfed, right? From that
Oh
little
yeah,
trade.
for sure, right? Kasante is not a problem still, right?
Yeah, unplayable. I mean, I'm surprised he got that kill with all those nerfs going through. Of course, I am being a little bit sarcastic. Kush has to be careful. I think this is a dead Varus.
And then we just see the TP from Aloyos going down. The ultimate's gonna drop onto the jars, not be able to go in the back line here. We just see the jungler of go to
Whoa!
Gurus. There we go in. They're gonna be able to pick up the kill.
Right. No, did you see that? The Gnar ult into the blasting cone. That guy just went 2 screens from where he was.
Ubers are gonna pick up once again.
Welcome everybody in to the Warden play-in round. It's gonna be Tilt Esports Apotheosis taking on definitely not lit, the number 4 seed of Sector 2. I'm gonna be taking on the 5 seed of Sector 1 for the chance to move on to the main format of the playoffs, the best of 5 format. So I believe this is a best of 3 to get in. As Tilt Esports Apotheosis has the higher seed, they are the number 4 seed. They do have side select for game 1, and it is going to be
They're taking a red side.
yeah, Tilt on red.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be an exciting matchup. I mean, from this point on, it's win or go home. And for these teams that are, I mean, you can call it on the outside looking in. I just think or play-ins is basically playoffs. Either way, they definitely want to extend their streak and hope to make some postseason noise. But looking at these two teams, I would say it wasn't the season that they were wishing for, but they did just enough to squeak in, and now it's anything goes.
Yeah. So we got a BF3. Did you do the pick'ems for Warden? I did. So
I did not.
had
You can talk about it.
yeah, so I had Tilt on my pick'ems. I think it's a little bit of bias because like I play for Tilt, but I mean either way, I think just looking at both rosters and from what I've seen based on like the seeding and like the standings, uh Tilt Esports is currently 4-4, 10 wins, 6 losses if you're looking at series record, and then definitely not lit is 3-5 with 8 wins, 8 losses. So, just based on that, like I think Tilt Esports might have the better hand just in terms of like how they've been playing overall in the season. But I think either way, the series is gonna be a banger. But like you were saying earlier,
Now, something that might go into definitely not Lit's favor is their 80 carry Necrox will be playing this series. Hasn't really played during the regular season. Their normal ADC Buckeye is going to be slotting in its support. So Buckeye is considered probably a top 3 ADC of the league. Having him go to support might hurt or might help depending on how Necrox performs. But it could be that wild card that definitely not lit needs to move on into the meat and potatoes of playoffs. We are waiting for the ready checks to come through. But once they do, I'm excited to see this draft. I don't believe there's been anything crazy except for we could talk a little bit about Nefiri being busted right now. Why it's
yeah,
banned.
I think it's just like whenever a champion gets changed, even like a little bit, like I think it's fair for Disable because it's even though it's not like a new champ, it's kind of like a rework pretty much, even though it's only
Hmm.
like half the kit. It's a new playstyle, it's like it's different, right? So I guess it makes sense. I don't think it was handshake to be unbanned this game, so we're not gonna be seeing Nefiri tonight, unfortunately. Dog is left in the cage, but back to the I do want to mention the support. I think that is like what we're going to be looking out for today is the battle of the supports because Oral has been playing support for this team this whole split. Buckeyes, as you said, was normally their ADC, but now they're playing support. So I am really interested on how Buckeyes compares to Oral in the support lane. Like, will he be able to rotate enough? Because ADCs, you don't really do those rotation timers. Like, you're sitting in the bot lane most of the time, just CSing and just looking at the side of the map. But now you're gonna have to look at like the rest of the map and seeing like, oh, do I have a good rotation timer to go help the rest of my map, or am I just staying bot lane with my ADC?
Yeah, it is interesting. I think 23 champions were touched in some way in this patch. Looking at a lot of bot lane changes, a slew of AD carries getting nerfed, and a couple also getting buffed as well. Some big changes that have stood out to me besides the Neferi, which we won't talk about because we're not going to see her. The Gwen change to kind of put
Oh, what
some
was Gwen
early game
changed?
power into her kit. So she has higher base health. Um,
Uh,
she does it basically kind of took her out of jungle and made her a top lane like light scaling fighter. They talked about how they didn't want her to be a hyperscaler like Kale, and instead kind of be a side lane scaler like a Fiora, Camille, Jax, where they could trade early. So that Gwen pick could be big, depending on if either of these top laners play it, if they get the tank matchup that they would like. Some other big changes. Jarvan, kind of a comp staple for a lot of the leagues. Did get a Q buff. Jin's been buffed. Kai'Sa's been buffed. So there's lots of potential to see some new picks or some picks that we haven't seen in quite some time. It'll just be up to these teams to either bring them out or just rely on the old faithful that got them here. But I'm always excited to see some new picks.
yeah, I definitely am. I think we are just having a little bit of issues of starting draft because one of the players' account is under review for being hacked, so they're currently on a different account. So draft is live now, but I will just mention, just for the viewers watching, Buckeyes is on his alt account that is called Banned for Inting. So if you hear us call Buckeyes, that's who we are talking about. But we do see the Nico ban starting for DNL.
Yep, Nico going to be banned away. I don't believe it's a champion that was touched in this patch, but very powerful in the right hands. Pantheon going to be the response into a Talon ban. Talon not a champion we normally see in comp. I'm assuming that's a targeted
No,
ban. Um, but interesting
or
stuff so
yeah.
far.
Yeah, the Nico ban's definitely for Punda. I've myself been against Punda's Nico. Not not a fun matchup. He's
Hmm.
definitely really strong champ. Followed by Syndra. I think Syndra's just a good ban overall, just a really good scaler. After seeing during Crusader, or not Crusader, sorry, Sentinel, after Syndra doing like half health bars from tanks, it's definitely a champ I think it's worth to be banned. But Hecarim, that's another ban that you don't really see.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tilt Apotheosis has banned away some like meta staples that we have seen throughout this first split, whereas definitely not lit is taking a more targeted ban approach. So kind of two different draft philosophies. Gonna be Darius picked up as well. Darius's time in the limelight in jungle, depending on whether or not you can force it to work, should it was nerfed kind of considerably. So I mean, I'm assuming this is a flex pick. I'm assuming it's
Yeah.
still definitely probably going towards the jungle, but not as strong as it once was. So that's a little bit of an interesting develop, and I really like the Lilia pick into it, offering some move speed, some kiteability. The apprehend goes wide. Lilia is definitely going to be not fun for the Darius to deal with.
Yeah, no, you're just gonna have a hard time catching that deer. I feel like Lilia is a really good pick. You're gonna like if you want to play into that, you're gonna have to pick some like hard CC like Jarvan if that Darius does go top. But even like Lissandra mid, just something that can lock down that Lilia because she's gonna definitely be a menace this game.
Yep. The downside of the
The
Darius
Ashe.
pick is you do have a lot of damage coming out of the jungle, but not a lot of CC, not a lot of the staples you see from comp junglers. Ashe could be a really good pick as well, kind of furthering enhancing that kite ability. I've really enjoyed the Lilia Ashe combo when it is clicking, slowing down the enemy champions while Lilia speeds up is definitely annoying to deal with. Millia could be hovered, potentially locked, or definitely not lit. Kind of an Ashe counter. As long as you don't take the arrow to the face, you could definitely make sure your carry isn't CC'd for long. And you typically see it with like a Jinx.
Yep.
There's the
There's the
Jinx.
Jinx.
And there you go.
Maybe it's this time is the time where you're predicting what's happening during the stream. Because I remember last time we casted together, every time I mentioned something, it seemed to happen. But maybe tonight's your night to shine.
Yeah. Speaking of things that you mentioned that did happen, don't say going the full three series unless you really wanted to go full three.
I'm not saying anything. I am not saying anything.
I like the Renata pickup as well. So right now, Tilt Apotheosis has a ton of objective control in chokes and river and stuff like that. The Renata Glass into the Darius going to be hard for Darius to find those engage angles, especially once you get past the Renata. You have to deal with the Ashe and Lily as well. So definitely not lit is late to an objective. I don't see them realistically contending, depending on what the game state is at that point. We got some bands to talk about. Malphite banned away
Yep.
by Tilt Apotheosis. The Anivia hovered, while Yone was taken off by Definitely Not Lit.
I am definitely seeing a lot of mid lane bans for definitely
Yeah,
not lit. I think last time I actually casted for Warden, it was a tilt game, and I will say I think Punda was definitely one of the stronger players on tilt. So I think it's a definitely a strategy, but based on Punda's pool, it might just be a waste because I believe Punda plays like a lot of random stuff mid. Not like random, but in terms of like yeah, he's a large champ
very
pool,
champ
so
pool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. The last time we casted together as well, I think it was Contingent Purple was five banning the opposing mid laner. And the mid laner was still able to make things
Yeah.
work. So kind of seeing that philosophy. However, you do see that Aatrox banned away, but definitely not lit. The Cassante picked up in response. I can't think of a better blind pick top laner for R4.
Yeah, it looks like they're giving the blind pick to Punda mid, which again, if that's your strongest lane, I think giving that is fine. And again, Cassante is a juggernaut. You and nothing like ooh, we're gonna see Mel. I haven't seen Mel in a really long time, but I think that's a really good pick into like Renata R, Ash R. It's a lot of stuff that you can reflect that can definitely benefit your team.
Yeah, I imagine that this fifth pick, whether it is top or jungle, going to be their engage coming through. Because right now, Plenty of damage for definitely not lit. Plenty of range as well, like that Melon Jinx you were
Not
talking
enough
about.
to like engage, disengage.
Yeah, so the team fight could get a little bit messy, and there you
There
have
it
it.
is. Yeah.
There's the Ornn. Titan 2. I like the Ornn with Cassante, especially if you can time the W on the Cassante ult wind up. You could just let him leave you alone, and you go back to doing what you're doing. So we will see. As I say, we're not going to see any of those picks. That's for sure.
We might see Pike. I know he plays Pike mid. He's done it before. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, pulling it out in a official match, though. Yeah, I was gonna say in an official match, probably not the case. Talia. I think that's a fine pick.
Well,
And
I think the identity comp is really strong, right? Like
yeah,
Tilt Apotheosis, if they get to an objective first, their idea is we're not gonna let you in, right? You have to go past Renata, past an Ashe, through a Lilia, over to Leah. There's so much control in terms of the map for Tilt Apotheosis, and if you look at definitely not lit site, you could get a little bit scared because if the Ornn Horn doesn't hit or if they don't find, a TP flank or a unique angle for Darius to get on the back line, I just don't know how you're going to be able to hit this Talia and Ashe
yeah.
unless you just get super far ahead early through lane. Because once laning phase ends, there's just so much control from Apotheosis.
So, are you saying you think Tilt's gonna take game one based
I
on this comp?
Yeah, based on the draft, you have two scalers in the middle of the Jinx, and if you're scaling and not able to really contest objectives with your Darius, it's tough, right? Like usually you see a
Yeah.
Darius, you want to see pushing lanes, you can get aggressive, get into their jungle, or make skirmishes happen, and I just don't see that with definitely not Lit's comp right now. I think Darius is gonna have a really tough time. He's not gonna have a lot of avenues to play through in the early game, and then mid to late game, I think he gets kited to oblivion.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I personally like Tilt's comp a little bit more. I think, yeah, like what you were saying, if this Darius doesn't get ahead, which based on who his laners are, it's looking fairly unlikely that it will be the case because even looking at Tilt's team, they got a lot of disengage if they see a Darius walk into lane.
Hmm.
Kasante is just a juggernaut. He's gonna be like a really hard person to kill. We have Renetta, Ashe in the bot lane. They have so much CC that they can get away from them, and then there's Talia. Talia also has slows. She has her E and her W, and it's just I think it's gonna be really hard to gank considering also who's on your team where the only really CC you have is like a Jinx E if it lands, along with Mel E, and then I guess all the E's pretty much.
Hmm. Yeah, and along those lines, right? Like, not only does Lily have better setup in the lanes, um, even if ganks don't go through and nothing happens in the early game, I think that's favoring Apotheosis, right? As long as his Darius doesn't get ahead, if he's even, he's losing. So we'll have to see what the approach is for definitely not lit. I just don't see very many avenues to get this Darius online and going unless Apotheosis. They're very susceptible to face checking or getting caught out because there is a ton of damage on definitely not Lit's team. So as long as Apotheosis plays to their comp strengths, I don't see this being an issue for them. However, if Renata Glass goes checking into a face checking into a brush, or if an Ashe is caught out on side, or if Lily is walking from base into a death brush, it could get scary with the damage for definitely not lit. But if that doesn't happen, I don't see them matching Apotheosis at any point in the game.
What I will say, point out, was because I really want to see it this game. Hopefully, we will. A really good Mel reflect into the Ashe R or the
Yeah.
Renata R, which will turn the fight. Because I think that's a way that if this game goes long enough, DNL, responding with this W with this CC, I think that could easily change a fight.
Well, we will have to see what ultimately happens on the Rift. You've heard it from us. We think Apotheosis is going to take game one, but it doesn't matter until the Nessus explodes, and we'll get to that as soon as we're done with a quick break.
I've seen relics of kingdoms past and crowns of ancient kings. I've heard stories of distant lands, realms I long to reach. Your voice, it beckons me to go to worlds unexplored, to leave behind my home and wander. It beckons me to go to worlds unexplored, to leave behind my home and wander.
Welcome back, everybody, to game one of this play-in series between Definitely Not Lit on the blue side and Tilt Esports Apotheosis on the red. Looks like a 5-point coming through for both of these teams. So no level 1 shenanigans. Looking across the 10 picks here, anything standing out to you, Star, before we start
Um,
getting into the laning phase?
yeah, so I don't really play Talia. I don't know if it's is Phase Rush what you normally go on Talia? Or like
I
I feel like I've seen Electrocute a little bit
you
more, or like
you have a
First
ton of
Strike.
options on Talia. You could go Phase Rush if you like the engage is crazy. You can go Electrocute for the burst. You can go Summon Airy for being annoying. There's a lot of things you can do. You could go Arcane Comet because of the slow.
But yeah, definitely. I think it's a fine thing including into this team. Darius is gonna be running at you. Actually, I'm surprised Darius doesn't have Ghost. I feel like
Yeah.
if you are wanting to get onto this team, you're definitely gonna need Ghost, and he doesn't have that.
Yeah, especially because of the nerfs coming through. I mean, the whole reason it was working is because you could get the move speed from the jungle item. Then you'd also get Yomu's. Now I feel like that's a little bit nerfed, so you can't have as much fun with it. Something that does stand out to me, Indigo opting for After Strike Cassante, instead of the regular grasp that we see. I figured it would be easy to kind of proc that on the Ornn, but I will have to admit, maybe he knows something I don't, because Indigo is the only player in Warden that has a Penta this season. That came up from the top lane.
Yeah, that's definitely do you know what champ it was on?
No idea.
Imagine it was on Cassante. Yeah, it looks like bot
Ooh.
lane. Definitely getting zoned off the wave here. Necrox already having to use his potion, not even a level 2 yet. Definitely not a good spot that you want to be in.
Yeah, I took the cleanse tax as well when looking into the Ash, so I'm gonna be not having a lot of trading power here early. Looking at the pathing from the junglers, both of them are matched, so they're gonna be meeting down on this bottom side. I have to imagine the early scuttle gonna go to Zenobia with the push from that bottom lane.
We do see Merc going Krugs first before red, so I don't know if he's looking to clear into mid, or I feel like this is just a little bit slower pathing for Merc, because normally you just want to go the
He just
red
wants
because
the
it's right
red to
there.
last longer so he can be aggressive on the map.
Ah.
Maybe. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
But it looks like Zenobia is just gonna look to take the scuttle. Maybe I think he realized that he's not gonna be able to get scuttle prio for this, because we do see the ward on Krugs up on the top, so they do know Zenobia is pathing down, and I think he realized, hey, my bot lane's pushed under tower, I'm not gonna be able to take this scuttle, so I'm just gonna Krugs red into top scuttle and clear it before hopefully Zenobia gets there, and that looks like what he's going to do.
Zenobia is in mid. A nice knock up from Hunda onto Saint Alucard means both mid laners taken extremely low. Zenobia walking and face checking a Darius. Before we loaded in, I said this is where it could get scary. And gonna be forced to flash. Merc follows a root from Saint Alucard. Gonna be picking up that first blood on Mel.
That was definitely well played from Alucard. The simultaneous flash was definitely that was funny, but really close from killing Punda there. Looks like Punda's just
Merc
gonna TP
really
back
wanted
in
that kill.
there.
Yeah, that's just getting a little bit greedy for Zenobia. You knew you could pick up the bottom scuttle easy, and we talked a little bit about it. Like if they just play their comp, this Darius shouldn't have a fun time. Unfortunately, did try to face check into the Darius, and we saw how much damage that champion offers as we see Necrox forced to cleanse away from a nice apprehend from Aurel.
Yeah, I think
Not
including
apprehend.
Mel's a scaling champ, and having that kill early is definitely really nice to have. But their bot lane is just getting pummeled by Tilt right now. I think Darius is definitely gonna have to gank to maybe help them get back in the game a little bit, because if this pressure keeps up, this tower is gonna be down at like 10 minutes in.
I do agree. I just think the gank is gonna be hard to pull off now that
Oh,
the Darius has no
definitely.
flash.
And no ghost.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to get kited pretty easily from Water and Rel on the Ashe and Renata. We're hitting a
Looks
little
like
bit of a lull. Faded Ashes for Lilia. Gotta really ramp up the clear speed for her. Down a little bit because of that face check into the death. But like you said, this bot lane is the story of the game so far. Water and Aurel getting the better of Necrox and Buckeyes.
Zenobia is starting Drake. Should be a pretty straightforward Drake for them. They have Prio in both lanes. Alucard heads
Yep.
it back, no TP.
There's backing as well.
Yeah.
So
Which
it'll
I'm kind of
be
interested. They haven't started Grubs yet. They're nowhere near Grubs.
yeah, they're
So
nowhere near Grubs. Puna does have the ultimate on the Talia as well. Zenobia, the one problem with trying to force the issue of Grubs for them right now is
we might see an ult
Zenobia
here,
gonna be
yeah.
very low. That's a dead Jinx. Yeah, it still goes down. The flash from Necrox, not quite enough to save their own life. So Jinx goes down off of a great ult from Punda. I'm not going to lose any farm for that roam as well. Managing the wave very, very nicely. Grubs have been started up by Merc and definitely not lit. Looks like it's just going to be that neutral trade. Saint Alucard has the inside track for that because of the play that happened bot. But I feel like if you're Tilt Apotheosis, you're okay with that trade. You walked away with a dragon and a kill.
Yep, and then we see Alucard and Merc just picking up those Grubs, matching the Drake. Oh, we see Indigo top lane.
Big for Mercy, having to flash out. Indigo gonna go unstoppable. The knockup does come through from Big for Mercy, but a nice Q3 from Indigo means that Ornn does go down.
you were dissing the aftershock, but you definitely just get that solo kill there. And
Yeah.
actually, back onto that Penta we were talking about that Indigo got. We have been told that the Penta was on Ambessa during week 4 against definitely not Aether, and he went 10-0-4. So that is definitely a stat that
I mean,
that's
Cassante is
definitely.
like old Ambessa, right? Like Ambessa is just new Cassante, so maybe we'll see another one.
I think Ambessa is new Callista. That's what I like to
Okay,
say.
fair enough.
But
But
either
yeah,
way,
a nice solo kill for him in the top lane on that Cassante.
gold's about like it's nothing too bad right now. 700 gold lead for Tilt right now.
Yeah, but this bot lane is just not fun for Necrox and Buckeyes. As we see a nice knockup from Punda.
That's definitely where the gold lead is, where it's at right now. Water currently has a 400 gold lead on the Crux, so
Yep.
definitely. I mean, based on this matchup, Water and Oral should definitely be taking over the lane just because of
Punda taking a couple tower shots that he wish he didn't. And it does fall to St. Alucard's Mel. So this Mel is 2-0 as the Squirrel Seed does go wide, but a nice flash Q means Necrox forced to be cleansed by Buckeye's ultimate. The ultimate from Ashlands. Necrox has a cleanse of their own. Wow. So many cleanses coming through. Just enough for both bottom laners to survive, but the damage is done. Next time around, those summoner spells will not be available.
Merc is looking for the kill right now on Merc. Is he gonna get there in time? I don't think so.
Yeah, Merc getting aggressive on Zenovia. Zenovia was low, missing mana, but this
I
is
don't
a
think he should be
3v1.
here.
Yeah, this is a 3v1 situation. Flash apprehend into Q means Zenovia will probably go down to the bleed. Instead, doesn't, and now Merc is a walking dead man and does fall. Puna able to pick up that kill, and that is Feat of Warfare secured by Tilt Apotheosis.
That was a play to be made, I guess. Definitely ambitious. I think he may have been able to turn that if he got the kill on Zenovia, but Zenovia literally just hanging on by a thread, doesn't get the ult reset, and with his
Think for
bot lane nowhere
mercy.
to be found, he's isolated in the enemy jungle.
I mean, did we all just watch what happened there? The Orin didn't get to move and got 100 to 0'd. I am convinced that Cassante was never nerfed. They just put it in the patch notes and forgot to actually make it happen.
Maybe it's the aftershock tech.
Yeah, maybe that's why. The damage coming through from the CC, but Indigo definitely showing who is in control of the top lane right now. 2 back-to-back solo kills, a couple plates to his name, and right now, really the only player that's had a tough go of it in the early game for Tilt is Zenobia with that face check. But other than that, it's been a pretty good, clean game for them so far. They're already up 1,000 gold here, almost 11 minutes in. We'll have to see what happens around these neutrals, though, as both of them should be spawning momentarily.
Yeah, grabs up now. Zenovia has to be careful though again.
Ooh. Zenobia has a rail in the back pocket. Oh my gosh. The shove from Talia into the 2-man ultimate from Renata, but Zenobia is the one that goes down first. Necrox is excited. Gonna have to back off with Indigo there, but that does mean that 6 grubs will be going definitely not Lit's way, so definitely not Lit. Showing some fight, bending but not breaking, taking low but not taken out, and they're gonna pick up 3 grubs for it.
This means they will get the 6 grubs, but like I gotta admit, let's be honest, who on their team's really gonna be side laning a lot? Like who's really gonna put that pressure?
The Darius, obviously. He's just
Ah.
side lane on the lane that has the neutral objective, right? Yeah, I mean it's gonna be tough because even if the Darius, even if that was a plan, Darius is always gonna be down levels to the Cassante, and I don't think that's a winning matchup for him regardless. So, yeah, I mean the 6 grubs are nice. The 6 grubs
Yeah,
are
two
nice
grubs.
to deny, but yeah, I definitely think the Drake stacking is better for both of these squads.
I believe Drake wins games over Soul over 6 grubs. I've seen it many times, and I think I'm hoping for an Infernal Drake. That's what I'm guessing right now before it spawns here. And it's Mountain. Never mind.
Good thing you're not
Water.
betting on that. Water are taking low. We see the sustain from the Milia coming through, but a nice handshake means banned for inting. Gonna be forced to flash away. Seismic shove does take down the Milio. Kill donated over to Water. I don't think Punda has missed a W. Is it Punda?
No.
Punda? It's gotta
I
be
think it's
Punda.
Punda. I think it's
It's gotta be
Punda.
Punda.
I've been in VC with him before. It'd be a little awkward if I didn't know. I don't know though, but he did miss the W on the first gank down bot lane when he ulted. They flashed over the wall, which means they flashed over the W. But either way, he's been doing a really good job.
Indigo getting so aggressive onto this Ornn, and the Aftershock does look like it is working. I think it adds trading potential to the Cassante in tank form that doesn't already go. So we see a nice arrow. Punda gonna find the seismic shove. The Q comes through. That's a
Wow.
shutdown. Water. Sniper. Get down. St. Alucard gets caught out from across the map.
That was a beautiful snipe by Water. The great follow up by Punda, getting that shutdown. This gold lead is slowly like creeping up to 2.5k gold right now, almost at 3. What I was saying earlier is I think Punda's doing a really good job on like managing these waves. Just like Punda, like Talia, she has so much wave clear where you can just push in the wave and then look for these rotations, and they've been working flawlessly. What I would like to see Alucard do is I don't think they've really been tracking Talia very well, because I feel like if they were tracking her, these bot lane ganks wouldn't be so like detrimental, and like they wouldn't be dying as much.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? Water and Aurel definitely putting on the pressure, getting constant shoves, but you know, at some point you feel like they would freeze the wave, make Necrox and Buckeye step out. Indigo getting aggressive once again. Aftershock proc does come through, beg for mercy. Definitely begging for mercy right now. Indigo getting the better of him here early on. Banned for inting, aka Buckeyes. Caught by the handshake. W comes through, so no harm, no foul. As we see the scroll seed come through, I don't believe Necrox will go down, but is forced to flash immediately. Millia ulting the Ashe ultimate. I don't know if the Jinx was really in danger there, but you know, support stay supported.
I mean, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, but that definitely is an ult that you do not want to have down, considering like Lilia's still up. We still have Renata R, and then we have like that CC from Renata as well. That Millia has a really long cooldown on his ult. That's 1.5 minutes. That's only gonna come up 30 seconds before Drake, so you definitely want to be careful until that time, because Ashe Arrow is gonna come up before then, I believe. So you just definitely want to be careful.
Down here on this bottom side, but is going to be spotted out by that Tribush ward. And with, like you said, 1:40 till there's Drake. Next objective should be that Rift Herald. Now, what's interesting, and I don't think it's talked about nearly enough, is when you get the 6 grubs, you get a whole bunch of Void Mats if you're going to ride the Herald into towers, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen if you don't
Indigo.
get the Herald. And so I think the Tilt Apotheosis side could definitely contend for this objective. And if Definitely Not Lit doesn't get it, those 6 scrubs, like you said, probably going to go wasted. As we see Beg for Mercy turning on to Zenobia. Merc is here, forcing it. Wow, nice flash from the Lily. It does manage to evade the apprehend. 5 members on top side for Definitely Not Lit does mean that this first tower will go down, so that will be feats of strength for Tilt Apotheosis. I wonder if the call is just to give the Rift Herald and instead look for Soul Point. At this point, probably gonna be forced to do that. I definitely thought they could contend, but now Definitely Not Lit has some pushing power with this Herald going down.
Yeah, for sure. But I will say, Tilt just secured bot tower, which means they just got feats. So
Yep.
definitely in a good spot to have. Because I will say it looks like they're just actually dropping it mid, which is just a little early because their team just got tower. You know that they're coming here. I don't think they get tower off with us.
I think they're just trying to put some pressure on this mid to set up for the potential Drake deny. I was just talking about how you get Void Mites if you're gonna write it in. You can't do that when the Talia's around though. As Ornhorn comes through, Water not really in danger. Now Beg for Mercy on the wrong side of this Talia wall, flashing away. These are very low members from Definitely Not Lit, and Indigo is on the back line. A nice 3-man ultimate from the Renata. Indigo going crazy. Beg for mercy, taken so low. Indigo on a killing spree. Milio down. Necrox on the Jinx down. Mid laner is the only thing left for definitely not lit. St. Alucard on the run, but a handshake from Morel means that not even the Mel can get away. That is a 5-0 ace. That is soul point for Apotheosis. And really, the momentum of this game is just so much in control by red side here.
I think, yeah, that was beautifully played by Tilt. You know, I do appreciate DNL definitely trying to, like, again, what you're saying, trying to get the pressure mid with that rift, but they lingered around too long where they didn't get the vision that they needed in Drake. They, again, like, completely lost their prio. I think that when Beg for Mercy ulted on Ornn, it seemed like a little of, like, a desperation play. Like, they were so close to tower still, even, like, you did hit that R, but like no one was there to follow up, and that's just like a big waste of materials, because if you're gonna have someone engage, you can't just waste it like that. They wasted that ult, and Tilt like definitely capitalized on that and just used like what their kit was meant to do, and definitely just overtook the game on that fight.
Yeah, not only that, I don't know whose ward it was that Indigo ended up TPing on, but if you're going to play for the Dragon, you got to make sure all your bases are covered. And part of that is clearing out the vision around the objective. Definitely not lit. Did definitely not do that. Indigo found the TP. They split the fight, and that was all she wrote. 5 members for nothing. Dragon Soul taken as well. Now, Indigo does have to be careful here. Not a lot of mana left for him, dodging out the knockup from the Ornn really nicely. The ult did not connect from Big for Mercy, and that's just a feels bad. Indigo to be able to walk away for free. Merc, on the other hand, running down Arel, no sums to their name, but Punda does find a kill onto the Milio. Jinx, Necrox going down once again. Merc really bloodthirsty. Finally gets his kill. 1 on the board for the Darius. 20 minutes in though, I just don't think this Darius is getting the value that definitely not lit was banking on. Beg for Mercy now has to be careful. Scrollsy does go wide. The water with the inside track will slow the Ornn. Ornn, no flash, no ult. That is a dead goat. And Otacon on the table for Apotheosis. It just seems like everything that Definitely Not Lit tries to do ends up backfiring, and Apotheosis able to benefit massively from it.
Looks like they're gonna start Otacon down here. It's Ruinous, so that means they're gonna be getting the blood petals. But I will mention, there's just 2 of them taking it, so I mean, I guess no one is contesting it, but
Emilio steal, you're calling it?
I don't know. No, wait, the Lilius.
Nope. No Emilio still. The Q coming through. That's a lot of roses, a lot of blood petals for the team that is already so massively far ahead. Over 7,000 gold here, only 21 minutes in. Apotheosis, 3 Jags on soul point. Definitely Not Lit has to make some magic happen. They have to make it soon, otherwise this game might already be over. 21 minutes into the game.
What do you think they have to do to get back into this game?
They gotta pray that the Talia or the Lilia gets caught out, or I don't know, Ash goes for a stroll through their side of the jungle, or maybe, just maybe, Apotheosis just gets 4-man DDoS. That's probably their win avenue.
Weather issues. That's been happening a lot in the LXC recently.
Yeah,
But,
Transformers exploding and such. It's just, it's a I
You
don't
called
want to
it.
say that I spoke this into existence, but Punda taken extremely low. However, Arel is here, has the
Not
W available, not nearly enough damage. The ultimate from Renata meeting at the same time from Water's ultimate as well. Now Water taken extremely low, doesn't have the ult to kite this out. St. Alucard with the ult will find a shutdown. So 1-for-1 across the map. But really, it's just a small bit of gold thrown back into the pockets of a team that is already so far behind.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just gotta mention, Water has been on point with these Ash arrows. Like 2 long snipes. Like, and it's not even like he's like firing in a straight line. He fired that one from mid lane, so he has to predict where Merc is gonna stand. And like again, like that's like
What's
I've
even
tried doing
more
that before.
impressive is he plays on lock screen. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that, but that'd be crazy.
Imagine though.
Yeah, I mean, Water's been looking great. Really, Apotheosis just in team totality has been looking awesome here in this game one. We had our reservations about draft coming into it. It does look like they were well founded and now definitely not lit on the back foot. Dragon coming up in 13 seconds time, and really that's a mountain soul that if Apotheosis can get, I don't know if there's a comeback for definitely not lit if it does go
Mhm.
down.
He'll just have so much prio right now for this thing, but I think they need to get mid prio and just try keeping like
Ooh, an apprehend does find its mark on an Indigo, but a 4-man Lily asleep means the back line of definitely not lit is under fire. Merc going down, the Talia ult cutting off the team. St. Alucard gonna be able to walk away, but the damage is done. Jungler is no more, and that should be a free dragon for Apotheosis, unless we see the Jinx steal. That's the only way that definitely not lit can prolong this game.
I don't know if Water can hit his snipes, maybe Necrox can hit the steal.
Look at Aurel's positioning though. Aurel's positioning to block
It's
the ult.
perfect, yeah.
Yep, it was never gonna come through. The Jinx ult was never used anyways. That's a Mountain Soul. 24 minutes in for Apotheosis. They're 8,000 gold up. Their sights are gonna be set on Baron here in 50 seconds time, and I just don't know if definitely not lit has any tools to really stop it.
It's definitely not good. And I will mention what TTL got 6 grubs and a rift. Not a single tower's been taken. That is
Yeah.
very unfortunate. None of the
Indigo about
towers
to
are even, like,
2v1.
low.
Okay, yeah, Merc does the wise thing and backs off. You're gonna see Cassante do some Cassante things. Yeah, I mean, you called it earlier on. Like they got 6 grubs, but you said I really don't see how they're ever gonna be able to utilize that pushing
Mhm.
power. Turns out, they weren't going to be able to. And now, really, it's deny this Baron, find a just a miracle fight somewhere, a miracle pick maybe, or definitely not lit is gonna be going down the whole 0-1.
Wouldn't be surprised if they try looking Baron here.
Oh.
Or just shyly misses Merc. Missed one
Y-
finally.
Yeah, you've been hyping him up too much. Water was due for a miss. Unfortunately, it does come right before Baron, so that ult not available. Not the worst thing in the world, but also not, a cooldown you were gonna wish you had. So we'll have to see. This Baron gets a little bit scarier with Ash ult not available. I say that, but there are no members from Definitely Not Lit
There's
even
no
close to
contesting,
the
yeah.
objective. And that's gonna be a free Baron. And at this point, you gotta imagine Definitely Not Lit's just talking about what they could do differently game 2.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just really unfortunate. Like the objectives that they did get with Grubs and Rift, the only like dent they've made in tower is mid with the Rift. So that means there's 6 Grubs. Hasn't really been putting much work. They can't really outpush the Talia, and Indigo is just a menace on Cassante right now. So they just haven't been able to pressure, and I think this game is definitely gonna end within the next 5 minutes.
We will have to see mid tier 2 going down for Apotheosis. Bot tier 2 already down. Tilt Esports cracking the base open slowly but surely. The siege is on and definitely not lit. Seems like all they can do is watch. I mean, you gotta make something happen here. The game's just gonna be over. It's gonna be a slow bleed into the Nexus and dying. Indigo, 2 levels up on Big for Mercy right now.
I feel like it has been a slope lead already, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this gold league has just been creeping higher and higher. We are now at a 13,000 gold lead. That is a very
doing
high number.
so much damage on Alucard. Merc is here. The ultimate does find Aurel. Aurel walking on back. The ultimate from Talia to split the team fight into 2. 2 members are definitely not lit go down. A third to follow St. Alucard on the run. It's not going to be enough. Ultimate does come through, but we'll find no one. Arel thought they were gonna die to the tower. Water getting extremely low as well. Flash Q from Zenobia means the sleep will find Necrox, but was cleansed. That's one inhibitor to down. That's two
I think that's
inhibitors
good.
down. A
I
third about to fall, and definitely not lit. Gonna have to find some answers for what happened here in game one, because this is game one going to Tilt Esports Apotheosis rather easily.
Yeah, and I also want to mention that this is a BO3, not a BO5. So DNL, if they want to get into this, if they want to make playoffs, they need to figure out like what went wrong that game and change it quickly because they only have one. They have to win these next two games if they want to make these playoffs.
Tell you what went wrong. I think they
What?
just horribly threw draft. I just walking
Yeah,
away from that draft. I didn't think that DNL had really any agency in the early game, and I didn't think they're gonna win the mid game. Yes, you have an Ornn. Yes, you have a Jinx. Yes, you have a Mel. You have plenty of scaling. Um, but the game was over before that could really even
yeah,
happen. And playing a full scaling comp with a Darius was questionable on its own, but then playing a full scaling comp and then trying to force fights, trying to make things happen like they were, just a little bit ill advised, and the gold lead just became too much. So DNL, like you said, gonna have to figure out what went wrong,
there you go.
and maybe address some issues they had in draft because that was probably not the most helpful draft to put them in a good position.
Yeah. Looks like the game ended with about it's like a 17,000 gold lead. So definitely a big lead that just kept increasing as the game went on. I definitely think draft could have been better, at least like in terms of like what they wanted to do as a team. Maybe just change like a few things here and there. Maybe just have like in maybe like a more aggressive ADC or mid. Just don't have two scalers, including like if you're gonna be like it's hard matchups, including for that bot lane. I yeah, again, I think they need to fix draft, like shake off their hands and come back game two swinging.
We will have to see. It looks like neither team is calling for the 5 minute break, so we should be getting in a draft here momentarily. We're waiting for side select for DNL, as they did lose that game one. Um, yeah, I mean, outside of draft, we could talk a little bit about the gameplay. Both the sides having a ton of issues for DNL. Indigo definitely getting the better of Beg for Mercy in that game one. Of course, that was an Ornn that was picked into Cassante. So you had the counter pick, it didn't work out. And then on the bottom side of the map, um, just that Ash for Nada combo was too much for the
Yeah.
Milio Jinx. And I mean, I don't know. I just feel like maybe that DNL should take red. Oh, they are taking red. Okay. Just to make sure that they can have one winning side lane, if not two. But it was looking pretty bleak there. I will say the one kind of lone bright spot for DNL was Saint Alucard on that Mel. A lot of the Mel success didn't really happen because of anything Punda did. Instead, it was Mel being at the right place at the right time, picking
Yeah.
up some kills, and then unfortunately, it wasn't able to carry the game with them, but was basically their only damage there in the middle
Yeah.
portions of that game. So maybe you force the issue, make sure that the mid laner has a winning matchup with a strong jungle pairing. Other than that, it's just you gotta bring out all the stops here because it's win or your season is over.
Who do you think who was your like MVP for that game for Tilt? I feel like
Um,
there's a few contenders there. I think everyone was, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Apotheosis game one is that there wasn't really anyone that stood out because they're all playing
Yeah.
so well. My toss up is for really either the solo lanes or the Ashe. The Ashe ults were clutch, found some nice picks. But Cassante being able to get so massively far ahead in the solo lane and then that just delicious TP from that dragon fight. Finding that 5-man ace was really nice. And then the Talia, like you said, controlling the waves, finding nice roam timers, making stuff happen on that bottom side that was winning already, was really good looks as well. So um, if I had to pick somebody, I'm gonna go with the top because top laners are underappreciated, I guess.
They're an island. People forget about them. But yeah, Indigo definitely played well that game. I would say either Indigo or again, like I think Indigo, Punda, Water. I all of them honestly. Everyone like had like their shining moments. Indigo just being a menace in the side lane, getting those solo kills against Beg for Mercy, never needing help. Zenobia getting these Drakes online, even though that he was a little bit behind in the morning. Not the morning, sorry,
The
in the
morning,
in the beginning of the game.
the morning. I
Setting up
like
those
that now.
Drakes. Oh
It's
god.
not the early laning phase. It's
Morning,
the morning
evening, and night
phase.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
morning, afternoon, and night.
But as I was saying, sorry. Punda managing to find like good roam timers on the spot lane where they were caught off guard. They didn't realize I don't think Punda was lurking down there. Water just getting these amazing snipes across the map, and then Oro being in the right place at the right time. Was
Yeah.
just
If I
really nice.
was gonna say stars coming
There
in.
we go. And yeah, like again, I think just Tilt did just a really good job that game. I don't think like they had like any like downsides that game.
Yeah, I mean it was a clean game, and going into it, right? We had even talked about how if they just play their game, play to their comp's strengths, that it really wasn't going to be an issue, and that's kind of how it kind of played out, right? They knew exactly what they drafted. They knew their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, they had a little bit of a mistake with the Lilia face checking the Darius early on, but outside of that, it was relatively mistake free. So Apotheosis definitely did their homework, definitely have some things prepped, and it definitely showed in game one. Definitely not lit. On the other hand, like I said, the triple scaling with the Darius jungle, I wasn't entirely sure how that was gonna work. I just ended up not doing that, so I feel like they'll draft something more standard here in this
Do you
game
think
too.
any bans will be different? Think they'll maybe add something
Mm,
in?
I don't know. Yeah, because they had weird bans as well in the first phase, huh?
They did.
I don't
They had
know.
Nico, Talon, and Hecarim. I feel like maybe you could get rid of like the Talon or the Hecarim for maybe like I don't really know. Like Celia was picked last. I don't think they're gonna pick that early again. Maybe like the Ash or like maybe the Renata or the yeah. I think maybe Ash or Renata. I think if you're gonna change your bands, maybe one of those two. Seem
We
like they're
are
easier.
into ban phase, so Apotheosis banning away the Pantheon once again. Hecarim was the immediate response by DNL.
Looks like they might
And
not change up the bands.
I was gonna say it might be just a salty run back, except for opposite sides this time. So same three bans for Apotheosis, Pantheon, Syndra, and Maokai in that order. Definitely not lit. The last ban has a chance to change the script, but so far it's been the three.
Oh,
Instead, it's
there it
that
is. There's the
Talia banned
Talia.
away.
I
Okay.
don't think they needed to ban the Talia. I doubt they're gonna B3 Talia. Or even B1 or B2 it. I don't think it's like that strong of a mid laner to pick that early. But it definitely did cause problems that game. Dividing up the team, just those roams were really, really strong. So definitely not a bad ban
I
there.
like this Varus pickup only
Me too.
because he offers such flexibility in terms of what the response is from definitely not lit. You can always go poke Varus. You can also go on hit. It's basically been pick ban for competitive for a while, pretty much all through first stand. If you saw it, it did really well. Most of the time it was banned away. So Varus on the B1, I'm a fan of. Definitely not lit. Get a match with the Ashe. So not a bad pickup for themselves. I imagine jungler comes out here because last time definitely not lit blinded their support. It was a tough go in that bottom lane, but we will
Yeah.
see what they end up doing here on the R2.
Hopefully it's not a Darius pick for flex. Don't think Darius was what they needed there. So Scion
Okay.
Is that gonna be a flex? I'm really not sure.
I don't know. Definitely not lit. Cooking. They're cooking. Um, so the Scion early pickup. I mean, if it's flex, it's usually between solo laners, right?
Yeah, it's
I
probably
guess.
not gonna be Scion mid though or jungle. So we're gonna see the World Ender Aatrox picked up here. I haven't seen an Aatrox played in so long because it's always banned, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this played by
Lilia.
Indigo.
Okay, so Lilia, I think loses a little bit of
Trying to get that.
value when picked into the Ashe, because you're gonna be a little bit easier to lock down with those slows with the CC. Not to say that it's a horrible pick. It's just something to keep of note when these skirmishes and team fights happen. I like the Aatrox pick. I'm assuming they just think it's Scion blind. Um, and the Darius coming through
Oh
once
my god.
again.
Is
Okay,
Darius a good matchup into Aatrox, or are we just picking Darius jungle again?
I think they might just be. Here's my thought.
Go
Maybe,
for it.
just maybe, it's Scion support. Thoughts? The
I
Ashe ult
mean,
into the Scion
let me
ult into
check
the
if they
queue.
play it. I mean, this guy's a ADC Buckeyes. I don't see it being a support angle because Buckeyes he's an ADC player that's playing support. I don't see him playing Scion, so I don't think so.
Okay.
It
Well,
doesn't look like it's gonna be jungle either. At least it's not in his top 10 most champs played right now
if
in ranked.
if it is Scion top, then I think they're doing themselves a major disservice because they blind picked their top, got countered. Uh, Apotheosis blind picked their jungler, and then they picked what I would assume is a losing matchup into it. I don't think the Darius is good into the Lilia unless the Lilia does face check like we saw in game one. But outside of that, it didn't seem like Darius had very much fun. Um,
No.
he
Maybe
was
he'll go
chasing
versus
heavy for
five.
kills, but wasn't able to find them. I will say, the difference between these two drafts is we see Renata and Braum banned away is Darius has a lot more setup to look at now, right? You have the Ashe
Yeah.
ult, you have some slows coming through, you have the Scion ult and knock up, so that's a nice adaptation to at least give the Darius some things to play around. As the final two bans going to be the Diana band away from Apotheosis and Lulu band away from Definitely Not Lit.
I'm wondering what they're gonna pick here because they've picked top, they picked jungle. It should like, do they want to give support blind or they want to give mid blind? Because I don't
Uh,
think it's gonna be Scion mid, but who knows? Yeah, okay, it's not. Okay, that's a way mid for
Telling
sure.
you, Scion jungle or sorry,
Scion
Scion
support.
support. They're holding the flex. But yeah, Hue picked up. I mean, it's a nice artillery mage. It does allow Darius to do a little bit more with the CC, as well as making use of the W, giving Darius some move speed potentially, or maybe some shielding. Going to be a nice follow up for the Darius.
Let's see what's in response. Karma. I'm assuming that's
Okay.
Karma support. Could be a flex. Never know. I've seen Karma mid. I've played Karma mid before. Really fun. Really chill lane. It always could be a
Yeah,
flex, but we'll see here based on what they pick.
Karma
If they
mid
pick like,
wouldn't be the worst thing. Giving some move speed buffs to Lilia, making sure the Lilia can maneuver the fights a little bit easier potentially.
yeah. Because who cares about the Ashe slow if you just have Karma Eing you and negating
Oh,
all that slow?
okay. It's gonna be the RA. So, uh, Apotheosis not running the standard tank comp now, but a lot of maneuverability within their champions. Lilia and Ari are so hard to lock down. Karma enabling the Varus to maneuver fights a little bit easier, and then of course Aatrox, the drain tank, the unkillable demon, so to speak. Gonna be
Blitzcrank. Oh, okay,
interesting.
never mind. We got baited. I would have been excited if that was a Blitzcrank. But we had a
Yeah, and
Seraphine.
I just don't know if Seraphine on 5 into the Karma really is utilizing the counter pick.
I don't
I feel
think
like
Seraphine's good here. You have an Ari, Lilia, and like that would
yeah,
like I feel it's just gonna be really difficult to hit some of these ultimates. I mean, you don't have to hit it on everyone, but that's two champs that you're almost never gonna hit. So, well, I guess definitely
it's
see in
gonna
this
be a
draft.
huge way double E. 5
Yeah.
man and a Seraphine. That's how they're gonna win the game. No, I think the draft adaptations have been a little bit better from Definitely Not Lit. They're 3 lanes that Darius can now actually go and gank and try to make something happen. Um, the problem is if you're looking across the board, I just feel like if any skirmish happens in the early game, they're gonna be heavily outdamaged now, right?
Yeah.
The Lily Aatrox playing into Scion Darius. I have to imagine it goes Aatrox Lilia's way, unless they miss position. Looking at mid lane, the Lilia Ari into the Darius way. Darius gonna be fighting 2v1 on an island potentially, and then on bot lane as well. Uh, I want to say that the draft improved from Definitely Not Lit, but they've now made it so
Still
that
the stronger. Yeah.
yeah, they've now made it where it's now even more so if Darius doesn't get ahead early, then the game's probably lost because Ashe isn't going to be providing a ton of damage. Sion probably won't be unless we see like a boss build. Hui needs time to scale, and so it seems like it's early game or bust for this DNL squad.
Yeah, in terms of draft, I again might have some bias because I play for Tilt, but I do think I like Tilt's draft a little bit more. There are also champs that I play, champs that I enjoy, I think a little bit more. But I think overall, their comp is a little bit stronger. It seems like what they want to do in a comp is a lot more organized compared on what DNL wants to do in a comp. Like we have some people in DNL that like want to look for picks, look for solo kills, and then there's some that just want to like get like big ults and like team fights. So it's definitely, I think if they can get, again, if they get Darius ahead early, I think it will be a better matchup. But again, I don't. Quay will have Prio in that lane. Most of the. Sorry, excuse me. Quay should have Prio in this matchup. I've played it both sides before. Quay just has a lot more wave clear compared to Ari, and so it's a lot healthier clear. So unless Ari gets ahead, then Ari will take the Prio, but we'll definitely see, I think, going to this match.
I will say for Definitely Not Lit side, because Apotheosis isn't running your standard tank, their engage, yes, they have it, but it doesn't come from your stereotypical like front to back engage. You have Lilia, E and a sleep potentially. You have an Ari flank. You have an Aatrox flank, which we saw, Indigo with that TP on Cassante. I can only imagine the damage it would do if it was on Aatrox last game, but. If Definitely Not Lit gets to the objectives first, I think the approach gets a little bit harder for Apotheosis, right? Having to walk into a way, into a Seraphine, into an Ashe makes it a whole lot easier than the Seraphine of the way trying to act as engage, right? So if Definitely Not Lit can control the early game and look to set up around objectives in the mid game, there is an avenue where they can definitely choke out Apotheosis because they just can't approach. I don't know if that's gonna happen, especially how we saw game 1 go. But we
Yeah.
will have to see. Regardless, they have to play the game. They don't win in draft; they win on the Rift. And so we will be back after a quick break.
I've been treading water for some time, picking up the parts of all my life. Didn't get to solve it this time. How will I to break apart? Don't tell me why we can't collide. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Don't you feel it? On the break
gravity pull and it keeps me awake. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all. I'm taking
Welcome back, everybody, to game 2 of this series, this play-in series between Tilt Apotheosis on the blue side this time, and definitely not lit on the red. We got a little bit of a level 1 invade going.
My favorite.
The double phase rush could be very scary for whoever.
Well, that's what I was gonna mention was we see a little bit of a change up. I don't think he went phase rush last game, did he? I think he went what, Conquer? What did
I think he
he
went
go
phase
with?
rush.
Oh,
You usually go
never
phase rush on
mind.
Darius.
Still has flash
Um,
though.
so let's flash. Yeah, as I thought we were gonna see something level 1, but instead it was just get bush control, I guess.
Maybe seeing if like they pre-walk in the bush, which I think they should know that they're in the bush there. Oh, they went way too early there, I think.
Aurel did take the W damage, but other than that, crisis avoided.
I think they were a little bit impatient
As
there.
the poke could be annoying to deal with from the Seraphine and the Ashe. Looking across the board, though, most of everything is stock standard. The electrocute on Ari. If you ask Ari mains how you should play Ari, they always say electrocute. So
That is me. Yep. Electrocute I think is just always best. There's a few worlds where I guess I could see the Comet or even like
Ari is
yeah, or
rush.
Airy, yeah, but I always like electrocute. I like to play aggressive, including when I'm on Ari. I think there's just so much damage that you can pump out, including with the electrocute, where I don't see a world where you don't need to go it. most of the
Okay, I was
time.
talking about how the Apotheosis is gonna win. They have the Ari skin, the faker skin, so they have to win,
That's the
right?
$50 one.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
fake.
never mind.
Yeah, yeah. I own that one. That's why.
Not as cool.
Yeah,
I
you
just
know,
feel
you
like
don't want to
when you
spend.
load up the faker skin, you just get a free win, right? That's how it works. You paid for it.
I feel like most $500 skins I've seen have lose. I think I've yet to see someone perform well in the $500 skin in my games.
Fair enough. But right now, everything is pretty slow and steady here. Neither lane except for top getting an advantage. Aatrox always going to win that matchup early. And so now the question is, with the junglers reversing their clear from game 1 and instead pathing towards top side, how will this skirmish go? I imagine that Darius will probably want to fight with the Scion. Maybe not.
You
If they see
should.
the Lilia. We see a nice fear from St. Alucard.
Yeah,
Indigo. Oh, that was weird. I thought Indigo would get knocked up there, but he didn't. So never mind.
it's like we are gonna see maybe a possible gank here. I don't think much is gonna be done here. Maybe just a little bit of poke, but
The W lands from the Aatrox will be kind of hard to play, but Punda taken extremely low, but a nice combo from St. Alucard, but the wave was shoved, so Punda gonna find a nice back.
did he steal that? Oh no! Sorry.
No.
For a second, I thought Zenobia stole that skull because I saw like the gold
That would
pop
have been
up.
tragic.
Yeah.
And Merc has the inside track for this. Oh, the ping's coming out onto the chickens. Lilia
Unless
has to
it's
be
too
careful
greedy.
here. Oh, nice E. You gotta make sure.
Oh.
Oh, an apprehend though. Merc with the phase rush. That's a quarter of Zenobia's HP already gone. The smite does come through. It does go towards Lilia. So smite fight win does mean that they're gonna miss out on the scuttle crab, but I like the aggression from Merc. I feel like when you're playing this Darius pick, that's how you have to play it to make it work, right? Otherwise, you just do nothing for 20 minutes and then lose because you did nothing for 20 minutes. So I like the adaptation. I like trying to take the fight to the Lilia. Didn't work out that time, but he is up a scuttle crab.
Yeah, so up just like that little bit of gold. I do think in the early game last game, though, he was still being aggressive, just didn't go his way.
Too aggressive, probably.
Yeah, I think that's the better word. But we do see Drake up. It is a Chem Baron or Chemtech.
Kim Baron. Somebody's been playing TFT.
Yeah, I'm a TFT grinder, but we do see the Chem Drake up. We do see Merc though coming up on Indigo.
He does have the apprehend, the flash. I'm pretty sure this is Aatrox just going down. Instead, it's going to be a TP from Punda, and it's enough to make Beg for Mercy and Merc back off. Now, the wave state definitely in favor of the Scion here, but a nice TP from Punda, potentially saving the life of their top laner.
Oh, I think that definitely saved his life. I think Indigo was dead there if he stayed. But you say like Scion has like the wave state here, but he's on no mana. He
Yeah,
can't
no
back right
mana.
now. Although
Water.
we could expect another regank though from Merc at this point. But
You could.
Zenobia is like, sorry, I was just gonna say Zenobia is just gonna start these drakes. We have Oral here. We have the Prio top lane because we know Scion has to back, and Darius isn't gonna bother like fighting those. Maybe just
Yep.
look for the Drake.
Scion had it back as well because of that mana issue you were talking about. So pings are coming out onto the Chem Tank, Chemsol, Chem.
You don't even know what it's called.
I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. Either way, the dragon will go down for definitely not lit. So good trade of neutrals once again. It's got to be Chem Drake, Chem Tank,
I think it's Chem Tech.
Chem Tech. There you go.
We'll see what it's taken. We'll see what it's taken.
Oh, an apprehend. Aurel gonna be forced to flash out. Now there was potential for a fight around this dragon. Instead, the
Chemtech.
nice, yeah, Chemtech. The nice E from Darius makes it so that they get the Drake for sure. And that is a karma that won't have flash, so potential gank opportunity for Merc. They have the vision control right now. Will they make it happen? Who knows?
It looks like this game, where I will say compared to last game where Tilt took the Drake, it's reversed this game, but I will say, I think Tilt has some players here that can definitely, like, I think use the grubs, because mainly Indigo. I think Aatrox is a fine spell pusher, not many people are going to be able to fight him, like,
Punda as well. The reason the Ahri is so good on side is, once she has ults, I mean, yeah, they can try to make a play for her, but it's so hard to lock her down, especially there's not a lot of hard CC from definitely not lit. Indigo with a nice combo there. Beg for Mercy just taking a bunch of damage. Banfred gonna be stunned up. That's a lot of minion aggro, my friend. Gonna be taken below half health. All in the name of trying to save the wave for Necrox, so honestly,
good support.
A+ supporting there, yeah.
Exactly. You know, you gotta die for the wave sometimes, or just lose a bunch of your HP. But she's definitely gonna have to back there.
Yeah.
It looks like is Oral the mid laner here?
Yeah.
I want to point out that Water did hit. Does have this rated
Punda.
Oh.
With the Q, forcing out the TP, so Punda gonna have to force to back away. A nice charm right out of the teleport means St. Alucard doesn't get to play, but just enough to pull the trigger on the ultimate. Aurel goes down. Necrox gonna be the trade. A 1-for-1. A nice charm from Punda means it's actually a 2-for-1 in favor of Apotheosis.
I think that was a really good.
Beg for Mercy. Nice combo there, clearing out the wave. Indigo taking some tower damage as well. Indigo doesn't have the TP, so has to stay around.
Indigo, he does. He has to go.
Nice ultimate to get the move speed. Flashing to no avail. Merc was there with the flash apprehend. And Merc gets a kill 9.5 minutes in, which is like 10 minutes before last time, I think. Pretty close to.
Yeah, that's progress. They did have to use a bunch of. They had to use 2 flashes and Darius ult to kill him there. So, was it worth it? I don't know, because Grub's up in 40 seconds. You're not gonna have your ult for that. Neither. I guess Aatrox won't either. But I feel like Darius wants his ult more important because that's like all your damage.
Yeah.
You want those resets, and now you have Grub's up, Drake up in 2 minutes. So there's no contest that you can do. And I think that if I was Merc right now, I'm just looking, hey, maybe we can do something bot side, because I don't know if you want to play into that right now without your ult.
Yep, only half the cooldown down for Indigo and the ultimate Zenobia Fine seeing Alucard. Squirrelsy does miss. So, I mean, they're playing like they want to contest this, even though Indigo doesn't have the ultimate.
I mean, Necrox is up here, so they're definitely gonna look.
Ooh, Necrox is
Indigo's
here
gonna be
as
careful with this
well.
Ashar, yeah. Hold
But
on.
the inside
Zenobia's starting
tracks,
it.
yeah, Zenobia's already started it. Merc is here. Merc on a solo
They
mission
stole
does
one.
smite one away. But the CC from Water and Punda means ban for ending is gone before the fight has even started. Merc gonna follow as well. Kill donated to Indigo. And this is kind of a rinse and repeat of the last game, right? DNL was trying to get active, proactive on the map, and then everything they tried just went sour so fast. And once again, they try to contest the Void Grubs. Instead, they do get one, but they lose 2 members in the process.
Yeah, it definitely stops them from getting the objective feats, but like at what cost? You know, you have a 3-0 Ari, and I was mentioning this in draft, is Alucard can, like on Hui, can clear those mid lanes, but against Ari, but if Ari gets fed, she's clearing just as fast, and she's a lot of pressure to kill you now, so even if you're using everything to clear these waves, Ari can easily ult you and probably 100 to 0 you within a combo.
Ari rocking the symbiotic souls as well.
Oh yeah, I just
I'm
realized
of
that.
the opinion that if you're a character or champion, champion, not character, but if you're a champion that can wear those, they're just so OP for creating tempo by cutting down that back time as well as that extra move speed. So really good stuff from Punda. I'm excited to see how that works out. Indigo.
He has been, yeah, like living up to that of roaming potential. Like he's been everywhere on this map. TPing top to save Indigo from that first blood earlier, being bot lane for when that 3v3 broke
Indigo
out.
has the ultimate available. But Beg for Mercy does find the combo. W does come down, so Cyan will be CC'd up. Indigo now was like 10% HP, now just about 100. Drake goes down for Apotheosis as well. So evening out the Drakes, 5 grubs to 1. They have plenty of split push potential between that Ari and that Aatrox. They've denied the Drake stacking, but Zenobia gonna get caught out. A nice Ashe ultimate followed by ban for Inting's ultimate of Seraphine. Merc getting that kill. Now 2-1 on the champ, so definitely not lit. At this point last game, it felt pretty dire, but here they're putting up a fight, only down about
Still even.
1,000 gold.
Zenobia definitely, was that blue worth it is my question.
Did they get it? I don't even know if they got it.
I think he got it, but just immediately transferred over to the Darius. Yeah, he got it because Darius is blue.
There you go.
So he got it, but like, at what cost? You know, you're dying. So
Yeah.
they did have to use a lot of resources. They used 3 ults to kill him. Ashe ult, Seraphine ult. Oh no, they used 4 ultimate. They also used Tway ult. That's 4 ultimates for 1 Lilia, so maybe Tilt can take advantage of that right now. Maybe push bot lane.
All
maybe
about
push
sending a
mid.
message.
Yeah. I mean, a kill's a
Indigo.
kill. It doesn't matter how many ults you use. As
Indigo
long as
is
nothing else is up.
extremely low. Merc is up here, has the Yomus available as well. And yeah, that's gonna be Aatrox going down, buying time for Zenobia to potentially get here. Squirrel Seed goes wide. That's a alley-oop for a Darius Q, and Merc 3 kills now. Tale of two halves, 2 games. Darius not having fun game 1, but the only one having fun game 2, it seems.
Yeah, it looks like bot lane tower might fall here soon as well. Oh my goodness, that damage. You know, I was talking about the lethality of Eris. I didn't know if it would be super good this game, but like maybe I was wrong.
There's
I guess
a
like
reason
they don't really have
why
mega tanks.
it's permabrand and pro play.
What, Varus?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
because
was
of
ridiculous.
poke like that. It's just so hard to navigate.
I believe this
I
is
mean-
feats.
Yep. Should be. And it is. Yep.
Yeah. So they got the feats of warfare, I think it's called, the first 3 kills. Yeah, taking that bot tower
Correct.
once again. They did that again the game before. It just looks like Oral and Water just have a lot stronger I think they're just a lot stronger duo compared to Necrox and banned for inting.
Buckeyes.
Because again, yeah, Hawkeyes. I completely forgot. his name.
Buckeyes, not Hawkeyes.
Buckeyes. I am so sorry.
It's
But yeah,
okay.
Buckeyes being the ADC main, he's not super comfortable on Seraphine. I think we've kind of noticed that in terms of his like pathing and just like it seems a little bit weird at some points compared to Oral. Like it looks like he wants to like roam like as like a support would, but just sometimes it seems like a weird time or like I don't know. It just compared to Oral, it seems like Oral is in the right place at the right time, and then, yeah.
Are you just
So-
hyping your coach up?
No, I am
I'm
not.
just
Okay.
You trying to get brownie points on stream?
I'm gonna flame him for that Darius hook earlier in the Drake bit. Don't worry, I'm gonna clip that and ship it. Clip it and ship it.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Ult coming through. Rel getting stunned up. A nice ultimate from Seraphine, but not enough damage. Punda with the TP. That's 2 quick kills for Apotheosis. Alucard TPing into a lost fight. Alucard taking extremely low. The shields, the heals. A nice charm into a snipe from water. Don't give this man skill shot champions. He will make you pay.
That was an amazing, like, turn of events for Tilt, you know? That looked like Aurel was about to die there, and just, like, the Avengers arrived with, Zenobia and Punda. And immediately turned it from, Aurel dying to him staying alive, and they getting, what, 2 kills from that?
2 kills and a tower to boot. As
Yeah.
well as the Rift Herald, which means that mid will probably go down here in the next 2 minutes or so. Dragon is up. They can probably just use this to create some tempo for that.
Yeah.
It took a little bit longer, but Apotheosis, like game 1, finding their footing as the game goes on. Up about a 5,000 gold now. And yeah, it just seems like when the 5v5, the 4v4 starts to happen, Tilt
Tilt really
well-oiled
comes
machine.
online. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will definitely say I think that is like their strong points in terms of like the whole game itself. It seems like they're really good on like team fighting and like these rotations because I really gotta give it to Punda. Punda has been like at the
Ooh,
maybe I
okay.
spoke too soon.
You just caster cursed it to the extreme. Punda forced out of the fight. I don't believe will go down,
He
but won't be
lives.
here. On the flip side, Merc trying to get that kill does go down. Chasing for it. And this is going to be a dragon for Apotheosis. It just seems like it's always so close for the pick coming through, and it just never happens.
Yeah.
Definitely not lit here in game 2.
It almost seems like they have the CC, but they just don't have the damage to follow up.
Look at this as well. So, I mean, Aurel has to flash away. They've been forced out of dragon, but the tier 2 and mid went down, and now all members of Apotheosis are here. Aurel stunning up Alucard. That's 2 quick kills to the Varus. Water now 4-0. Make that 3 quick kills. I can count. And so they got mid tier 2, and they ping pong that aggression. So they get tier 2 for free. They're forced off drag, but then they regroup, retake drag, and potentially a tier 2 here. And it's nice to see Tilt operating on all cylinders, playing the macro game so well, pushing and pulling aggression, making it so that they are always at an advantage as the ultimate from water will come through, stunning up Merc taken low, Merc taken down, Indigo almost goes down to the tower, but the tower does fall. And
really
now Tilt might be getting a little bit overzealous. Gonna be forced to back off. Blinking health bars means they probably shouldn't stick around. But hey, they're playing with confidence. They're playing with momentum. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen it overstay.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it before, but we're 19 minutes in the game with almost a 10k gold lead. That is definitely in a spot that you would like to be in for Tilt. I almost did caster cursed earlier there, but luckily we didn't. The game is still playing as we expected it to go. How do you think DNL get back in this game?
You know, something that they haven't tried, something that they haven't like really tried to punish in either of these games is they lose in the 4v4. By that I mean Indigo and Big for Mercy are constantly pretty much on an island on sides. Maybe they try to make the side lane pick before making these fights happen, unlocking Big for
Mhm.
Mercy to actually be there. Other than that, I got nothing.
They
It's looking
definitely have a
bleak.
pick comp. I do think that if they start getting like these important picks, that they definitely can turn the match. But like I think it just has to be on someone important. I think you need either Ari dead or like this Varus dead or even like again Lilia.
It's
I
tough.
think anything is
Varus with
good.
the cleanse means that the Astral are gonna be effectively nullified.
Yeah.
Punda, if they ever have ultimate up, it's gonna be so hard to lock the Ari down. So I agree. Oh,
Ooh.
right on cue. They're trying to
Barely
make the
misses.
sideline happen. Indigo gonna be going down here. I don't imagine we're gonna see Aatrox things, and we don't. CC to Oblivion. So they find the pick like I'm talking about. It's just the timer. Like there's nothing really to fight for now, right? The
Yeah.
Otacon starting up on the other side of the map means they're gonna be late. While they do have the numbers advantage, they're just not gonna be there. This is a free ruinous Otacon for Tilt Apotheosis.
So you thought the XP lead was already large? It's gonna be even larger now. But yeah, it like again, it's definitely good that they're trying to do stuff on the other side of the map because they know they aren't winning these fights, but all they get is one tier 1 and I don't think it's worth it. Like it's just like their waves are constantly pushed in. Tilt's doing a really good job of keeping these waves past rivers, so even if something does happen on the long side of the map, they don't really get much for it.
Now, I might be saying some fake news here, but I'm pretty sure that is one more tower than they got in game one. So,
I
improvement.
think actually I think you're right. I don't think they got a tower last game. They may have gotten one mid actually, but I
Either
really
way,
don't remember.
I definitely like they'd made the pick, and then instead of trying to spread themselves too thin to respond to that Otacon, they took what was available to them on the side of the map. They let the momentum of the play carry them to where they're supposed to go. So they did pick up the tower. They played it correctly. It's just it seems too little, too late. This is, you know, you're basically taking pennies out of the ocean that is the gold lead of Apotheosis here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We have Drake coming. Oh, top lane might. Oh my goodness,
Okay,
that damage.
Buckeyes. Wow, forced to use both summoners. And I still thought they might go down. Instead, they are able to walk away with their life. But that is a Seraphine that won't be on the map for a little bit as they look to get some health back in the tank.
We got soul we got soul not soul. Sorry, we got soul point up in a minute. If Tilt get it, they'll be one away from Drake after they
And
secure this
I could
one.
think of a lot of things that are pretty brutal to play into. And Aatrox, a Lilia, and an Ahri that have Cloud Drake is definitely on the top of the list. Is Merc trying to be aggressive, but instead goes down for his trouble. Make that 2 quick kills as Beg for Mercy is soon to follow. Does go zombie form. Gonna be able to clear out the wave. Squirrel Seed will land. Alucard taken below half health. A flash from Indigo means Necrox. Quick fingers there, able to flash away. Punda and Indigo using the flashes aggressively. They do find flash responses, so only the 2 initial members go down, Beg for Mercy and Merc. The tower does fall. And we're seeing the power of the Varus. Once the initial play, happens, Varus just sits there and queues people for half their health.
Yeah, and then you have Punda there to clean it up. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a good combo to have. They all realize that I think they don't need to take that top tower. They can just all reset for this Drake, and I think that's what's gonna happen. We do see Beg for Mercy TPing in. I don't know if they want to fight this.
There
Oh,
was a lot of cooldowns used in terms of ultimates by Apotheosis here as Beg for Mercy. TP'd in, immediately taking a half health, but this might be the fight that Merc and Co were looking for. Instead, the poke, the Karma poke, the Bear's poke, just so brutal for definitely not lit to deal with. Saint Alucard already walking up to the top side. It seems like they're giving this dragon for free. It is only soul point, so it's not do or die, but this team has a 10,000 gold lead on you, and it should only get worse. So,
oh
ooh,
my,
Necrox.
yeah, that damage, yeah. Oh, he's
Punda
dead.
is here. Oh my. Okay.
as I was saying earlier, just you have Water, yeah, like you're saying as well. Water just poking them down to half HP. Panda's just gonna ult in and finish that kill. It's a really, really deathly combo that they have going on tilt right now. Oh, like that.
Yeah, that was
They're
more
just getting
so Seraphine
deleted.
just not being where Seraphine needed to be, which was way
Yeah.
behind their tower. The siege is on to tier 2, already below half health. Merc does find the apprehend, but has to walk away as he's already taken below half HP. The Qs are raining from Water. Punda putting on the pressure with the positioning. That's going to be an inhib falling. Make
This might
that
be game.
2. Oh, a nice ultimate into the Scion ult means Zenobia is forced to go golden. Zenobia does find the 2-man ultimate, but goes down in the process. However, Merc and Big for Mercy are extremely low. Necrox below half health. Merc pops the Omus to run away. A nice ultimate from St. Alucard means Indigo is taken down. Both teams with blinking health bars. And I feel like if Definitely Not Lit was able to win that fight, get some gold in the pocket, the game could get interesting instead. Apotheosis makes the correct call, gets on out of there. I know they really wanted that that inhibitor, but instead, plays it smart, lives to fight another day. That inhibitor's got to go down here soon, regardless.
I think I think what's gonna happen now is Tilt's gonna either take Baron or bait the Baron, where they're gonna sit in a bush, get like the kills that they need. Actually,
Ooh. Okay, they're
DNL
looking for the
might get there
pick.
first, yeah. And Oral.
Aurel saw Ben for inting. They thought the Seraphine, what are they doing? But Aurel, look at the shields.
He lives.
Yeah. Aurel with the self-shield, self-heal.
That's a
Ashel
Seraphine ult down.
cleansed away by a nice Mikhails from Aurel. And yeah, I mean, credit where credit is due. DNL was trying to create tempo to potentially pick
They
up
just don't have the damage.
a Baron, but they just don't have the damage. Merc charmed up. Apprehend goes wide. Punda goes legendary. 8-0-3 on the Ari. Beg for mercy. Trying their best into this Aatrox. Aatrox having the ultimate available, but instead going to be CC'd to death. And Necrox going to get that kill credit. The poke is on. Water is here. The Q eating through the health bars of DNL. And this is a 1-3 as we see Indigo goes down, but it doesn't really matter. The gold lead is just too much. A third inhibitor has been cracked open. Will it fall? A nice 2-man ultimate from Zenobia. It means that ban for inting will go down. That's 3 inhibitors. That's the support down. Do they stick around and try to end? No, looks like they're gonna reset, spend some gold, and turn their eyes onto the Baron.
Here.
Yeah.
They might not even have to reset because they know that DNL cannot follow them right now. They have 3 inhibs down. That's double super minions. I guess they are a little bit low. Maybe just reset for Baron. They really want to drag this game out. They can go for Baron into Soul and then finish the game, but I don't think they need the Soul. Not really much is going on right now. So it looks like they might just like take this Baron, reset, and then they can probably just run 5 mid and they're gonna be an unstoppable force because again, it's a 10k gold lead right now. You have a fed Punda and a fed Water where Water is just doing half their HP and then Punda's just ulting in to finish the job. And there's just so many shields and just so much like CC from Tilt's side where it's pretty much unplayable for DNL at this point. Like you saw earlier where they tried Merc and Darius and Seraphine, you saw them in that banana bush try getting Oral dead, but they just don't have the damage to even kill a support. And if I were them, like if you don't have that damage to kill a support, then like you're not in really a good spot, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Oral can just, you know,
Walk
launch
away.
a W and then E and walk away, you're definitely probably not winning the
A
game.
little bit cooked.
It's like in TFT, if you lose to Krugs, you know, you're probably just not gonna fare well in that lobby. Anyways, the siege is on. I mean, they can play for solo if they want to, but I imagine they're just gonna utilize this Baron and slowly win the game. Merc, already 2/3 HP, make that under half as the poke comes through. Ultimate from Necrox does go wide. Indigo, no, sorry. Punda TPing in with the ultimate means Alucard gonna be charmed up, forced to flash away. Banned for inting finds a nice ult on Indigo, but it doesn't matter. Indigo taken so low, but once again, just not enough damage. Necrox forced to flash away from Punda. The Qs now are just raining down. The siege is on. And that's going to be game 2 unless something just absolutely crazy happens. And instead, Beg for Mercy going to go down. Merc going to be quick to follow. Beg for Mercy looking for a solo kill as a double kill comes through from Zenobia and Tilt. Esports
We'll take
Apotheosis. Yeah, they're going to playoffs and they're going with a ton of momentum. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. That's kind of how
Yeah.
I roll. Those were that. I mean, that was a stomp. That was not just a 2-0. That was a convincing 2-0.
Yeah, it definitely like I will admit like the early game, like it just kind of seemed like a progressive incline in terms of like just how well they've been playing. I definitely agree. What we were talking about earlier is I think Apotheosis definitely has their team fighting and like their rotating and like their macro unlock. They're like in the right spots where they need to be. Their TPs are up when they need to be, and they just like as a team of 5, they play really really well together.
Yeah, and
And looking at that damage, oh my god, Water at 52,000 damage. The next
yeah,
closest on the enemy team was Alucard on Hui with 17,000 for comparison. So
yeah.
lethality Varus definitely doing a lot of damage there.
Now we see what pros ban away the champion. I mean, Apotheosis. Not only did they win convincingly, it seems like they've been in the lab. They've been cooking up some nice cohesive drafts, back-to-back drafts where I thought the win con was clear and they just played immaculately to it. DNL, their season is over. Unfortunately, gonna be over on a low note. However, they did make play-ins. They had a relatively successful season. We wish them all the best as they venture forth into whatever they plan on doing next. But Apotheosis will be moving on. I believe they will be playing Dorado Gaming Chi. And Dorado Gaming better steady up and look out because
After those
Tilt's
two
looking pretty
games,
strong. Yeah.
yeah. Out of the series, who's your MVP? I have mine, but I want to hear yours first.
You know, if Indigo had back-to-back crazy performances, it would have been him. But it's got to be Water, right? On the Ashe and on the Varus. Ashe playing the supportive role so well. Ashe duty, never fun for the ADC, but those arrows were clean. And then he finally got unlocked on the Varus, like you said, 52,000 damage. Water's gonna get the MVP nod for me.
For me, I'm gonna give it to Punda. Might be a little bit biased because I am a mid player, but I think Punda both games did really solid in terms of. I don't see at least I don't know if this is just because I'm the elo that I'm in, but I don't see a lot of mid laners who can manage their waves so well and like just work around the map so well that I saw Punda did. I think after this game I might have to ask him for some pointers because it's just he's matching CS, he's still equal in XP, and he's putting still so much pressure on the map both on the Tilia and the RE games again. I
Yeah.
think I guess with those symbiotic souls too, like he can back so fast, just be where he wants to be. And again, his TP's up when like they need it the most. So I'm definitely gonna give it to Punda for that match.
I mean, you could put all members of Apotheosis into a hat, pull it out, and be pretty happy with that being their MVP. It was a dominating performance. Apotheosis going to be going into the best of fives with a ton of momentum. Dorado Gaming, like I said, gonna have to watch out. And I think that's it. I mean, I don't think we got anything else going on. LXC gonna be back. The podcast, I believe, on Sunday. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
I am not wrong. So you guys can look forward to that. And unless
think
I get
that's about
something from
it,
the
yeah.
producer. All
Yeah, we
right.
got, yeah, I think that's it. Nothing else is happening because we don't have the other games. We can't get update on that because that's happening on the 25th. Yeah, I guess I just got to come back for next week for Warden and see who's gonna be streamed then.
Yeah, Warden is shaping out to be pretty exciting. We don't have any updates, I believe, for TDK and Goofy Gooners because it's not happening today. So gonna have to wait till the 25th for that to go through. I've been righteous. That was Star Burrito. That was a stomp, honestly. Uh, Congratulations to Apotheosis and good luck on the rest of their playoffs.
Yeah.
We hope you all have a wonderful night.